There's no way. It's way too much damage. Stop him with the block! He fell charge jump!
Oh, and he found
wow.
Wow.
Oh, what?
He gets out!
Somewhere there's a covert muffin just applauding this seed.
Holy crap.
Oh man, this is gonna come down to execution in the final escape, isn't it?
Sure is.
Every seed
Our
does.
favorite phrase.
Welcome to the Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition 2021 Rando Tournament. It is indeed Randomizer o'clock. My name is Shafe, joined by J-Mal as co-commentator. We've got CutierooSR versus Osse101, and after the first preliminary match of the day, which featured some interesting pathing, climb, charge, jump, stomp, and glide, on the way to Horu for intended climb and dash over there, it definitely is a case of runners hoping for something a little bit better for this seed, or at least a little bit less quote-unquote interesting / powerful. Cutiroo definitely feels more comfortable with verticality off the start and some blue breakage, that kind of thing, something that's going to allow her to do a whole bunch of checks and not have to do a whole lot in the way of backtracking. Osse, in the meantime, is a veteran of many a speed game, most notably for Link to the Past Randomizer and Super Metroid Randomizer as well, is definitely one of the highest lauded contenders in SM Rando, that's for sure. Dipping his feet in once again to Ori Randomizer. And J-Mal, talking about that seed first thing this morning, it sure was an interesting path. There was sort of like a quote-unquote lumberjack mode for a lot of the runners in the early going, and then it was a long hunt for something to be able to finish the final escape.
Exactly, that seed was definitely something else. I know I think it's interesting to look back and see all the things everybody found, and I think everyone's hoping for something a little bit cleaner this time around. A little bit cleaner set of skills, something that'll actually let you finish Final Escape by the time you're done with the trees. But we'll see what the randomizer feels like given everyone today.
Yeah, we'll see if it's a clean fell water type seed or whether or not we're going to have some poison swims to do. Maybe early bash nade, something that Cutiroo is definitely fond of doing. We'll give the runners about a 1 minute countdown right about now. Cutiroo also not terribly happy with her performance so far. She's got a couple more races that she needs to get under her belt in order to finish qualifying, currently sitting at around 41. Knows that she's capable of better than that, but definitely shaking off some of the rust. Has only done sort of like a couple marathon runs in the intervening time between the last tournament and this tournament. Has told me that she is going to be pinging the Looking for Rando role in the Discord for a whole lot of practice for this upcoming week. In the meantime, Osse has climbed up just a little bit in the standings as well, sitting at 39, a score of 0.9118. Definitely has an opportunity to claim a few more ranking spots here in this preliminary matchup and try and improve the seeding a little bit. It is the last day of preliminaries. This is our second last race, and later on at 6 o'clock Eastern, we're going to have Terra versus Grimilios, two veterans of the randomizer, commentated by Zemsis and 2Kill. So make sure that you stick around on the Speed Gaming network of channels to catch that one. That is going to be on Speed Gaming 2. And
Got the race starting, it looks like. So anything in particular you're looking to see for this seed? Anything entertaining that you want to see our runners run into?
I am always a fan of dash, wall jump, and double jump movement, getting sort of like your base early game skills. I think it really is going to test the runner's execution in order to be able to do a whole lot of checks rapidly. It's also going to prevent some of the backtracking that Kitty was referring to earlier on. A little bit of an advantage here for Osse. Kitty timer not working with live split. That does happen. Technical difficulties. It will be no worries. Our restreamer Apple Tree is going to make sure that everybody is all nice and synced up by the time we go. And we have nothing so far here in the early going, minus a keystone and some health regen. All likely we're going to see a Glades opening here, perhaps, or just a skill to get us into Black Group Burrows.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I do think health regen is one of those things that just is a nice ability to have. It gives you essentially effectively an extra health cell for things that don't instantly kill you. So it'll make some checks a little bit easier, notably fake flippers coming up, just that damage that you take will be less likely to kill you and easier way to get that pickup. So we'll
Yeah,
see if that's something that comes into play later and just see if we get any more of those getting down later on in the race.
yeah, it is sort of an advantageous thing to have. Functions effectively as a fourth health as long as you're not taking your max total HP pool of damage. Will enable them to get that fake flippers check a little bit easier. As you suggested, what is this pickup going to be? We get
Climb
climb.
start, of course.
Everybody's favorite skill to use in Blackroot burrows. Nobody has ever complained about the climb ramp in the orb room, not even
Ooh, we
one.
got a second
Ooh,
keystone though.
yeah, we do get to advance our way into Glades here. That'll be a nice comfort for the runners for at least the immediate future, not having to negotiate Blackroot here with just climb. Maybe. We'll see in a moment. Aussie did take a couple extra attempts at grabbing that ability cell that was locked underwater. Cutiroo scumming it. Having had that little flub with the timer there, definitely threw her off. She started a little bit late. Warmth Return does nothing. It is the final event that you get in the vanilla game of Ori of the Blind Forest, and has absolutely no function in the randomizer, which does function according to a logic. And by that, I mean it's going to place skills in your first four pickups. As you would notice, we have climb, and then it's going to give you certain resources or skills to be able to access other areas and so on and so forth down the line until you have an opportunity to finish the game. And we are playing JML today on Forest Trees and Clues mode.
Yeah, and so what that means is that in order to actually complete the run, our racers are going to have to visit all 10 skill locations in the vanilla game. And for the most part, those are trees, barring the one, feather that we say is a tree, but it's fine. And on top of that, as you mentioned, the clues are going to give our runners some pieces of information every 3 trees that they get. And that information is going to be a dungeon key, which they will also need to collect in order to both get to those dungeons and get the keys or the trees inside them, but then also get into Horu and finish the final escape.
Yeah, Gumon Seal is definitely one that we don't typically want to see because Forlorn in this particular mode of the randomizer does not have an objective for it. So we don't like going there unless we absolutely have to. Cuter did take a death trying to go for the damage boost strat in here and has opted to just play it safe. Is going to push this rock, going to cost her a little bit of time and gain Aussie the early lead here, heading down to the wall jump tree. So far, nothing else other than keystones, an opportunity for the runners to go into Spirit Caverns if they so desire before going into Blackroot Burrows. We'll have to see what the runners do here. Aussie did not see what was in the fake flippers check, which is considered to be out of logic. So he's not terribly worried about that, I would imagine, but definitely can be a skill, could be something important. He doesn't know. Cutie Root does have the knowledge that it is just an ability cell.
Speaking of important pickups, I'd like to call it on the right Aussie finding 1 XP on the wall jump tree. There is exactly one pickup that is 1 XP in the randomizer. All the other XP values are randomized based on how late in the logic they appear. And it looks like we have Aussie actually opting to go down into Blackroot right away.
Yeah, typically speaking, you'll see this play from runners who don't want to take the gamble to Spirit Cavern simply because he has 4 keystones in his inventory right now. It would bring him down to 2 keystones entering Spirit Caverns, and it's entirely possible you're only going to get 1 keystone there, and your other keystones are intended to be found here in Blackroot. So this decision by Aussie is just sort of more of a safety play. In the meantime, on the left side of your screen, we do see Rue backing out. Looks like she does want to make that Spirit Caverns play. Did have the option to Alt-R instead of trying to do this awful navigation with climb ramps, but has decided that this is the route that she wants to take, and that is fair enough. Aussie, in the meantime, is going to be the first to the orb room here, and we'll get our first Blackroot check momentarily as Cutie enters Spirit Caverns.
Yeah, this Blackroot orb is one of the main mechanic of this area. Is it essentially it's a large auto scroller where you have to carry this orb around to reveal platforms, and so it's one of the slower areas, but because it has a tree, it's something that you usually always see runners doing relatively early. So it'll be interesting to see if Rue finds any, say, 1 more keystone. I think is all that she needs in order to progress past this key door, and see if she opts to put Blackroot off even later, or if she ends up having to go back there anyways.
Does get the second energy cell. Could be a play over into Grotto forthcoming in the meantime. Aussie struggling a little bit with the climb ramp that everybody loves, myself included, but does finally get it and is rewarded with just 56 experience. Would also like to thank Sigma for the 1 experience on Wall Jump Tree. Thank you, Sigma. In the meantime, Osse is going to be doubling back now into Blackroot Burrows. Has a bit of a tight jump that he's got to make, and we did get another Keystone in Spirit Cavern, so Cutiroo is going to be going straight to the Charge Flame tree. It'll be interesting to see how she sort of routes the two pickups that are down there. She is opting to keep Teleporter. Worth noting that if you do skip this Teleporter cutscene, you will not have access to the Teleporter unless you find the pickup itself located elsewhere in the world. And so she is going to make the safe play here and keep it in case that doesn't happen. And she does have an opportunity to use a save anywhere to skip basically deloading a blue wall from the Sea Flame tree and then continuing to move right. We did see the save anywhere from Osse as well just moments ago. On the right side of your screen, has to do a little turnaround jump here and drops down but recovers on the wall. Very nicely done, and gets rewarded with a 5th health cell. Kind of nice comfy health values here in the early going.
Yeah, I think Rue keeping that teleporter is kind of indicating that she's maybe expecting to have to go back to Valley later, or maybe is, not confident she's going to be able to get all these checks in this Charge Flame tree area, and so is expecting to have to come back here quickly. And so I think that's the main thing that plays into me, or my decision making when I decide whether or not I want to skip that teleporter is exactly that of, what's my ability set at the time, and do I expect that I'm going to need to come back here at some point later. As such, that does mean she's taking the gamble then on not finding a left side teleporter, something like a Valley or a Sorrow TP later in the seed.
We'll see how many attempts at this climb ramp Cutie does. This is not in logic for her to pull this right now, and does not have Blue Break. Very nice, getting it on the 3rd try. That is very difficult to do. Did not find anything except an energy cell down below, which could be very important. There is a door over to the right of the spawn location. That is a 4 energy door, so perhaps early grotto play is indeed in our near future. And yes, it is! 4 energy and 4 health. That puts grotto access in logic now for the runners. And from my expectation, probably not a whole lot here in Blackroot for Osse at this point.
Yeah, I haven't seen much looking at it myself, but I know behind the crushers here you only found a keystone, which unfortunately does not give us very much information about what is actually going to end up in the logic later on the seed. Normally if you see an XP value there, you might be able to guess at whether or not you find dash, because dash is required by standard logic to get that pickup back there. But unfortunately no such luck this time, means that we don't really know what to expect for Blackroot later.
Oh, we're going to see Osse take use of this Mega Energy here. This is a bonus pickup that is put into the randomizer, just kind of as quality of life things. You're going to see a few of those, like the health regeneration that we saw earlier. He's going to be able to open up this grotto door right now. We'll see whether or not he decides to return to start. Yes, he does. He is taking a look at his base energy value, seeing 2 energy, and is saying, okay, I want this door open now, but I also want to go and see what logical progression is. Worth noting, there is one pickup that was out of logic via a micro ledge that Cutiroo could have picked up in the Spirit Caverns, but elected not to. So keep an eye on the right side of your screen as Osse works his way towards Spirit Caverns, whether or not he does end up checking that pickup, or whether or not he makes the same play and just decides, hey, it's out of logic, I'm going to come back to this later if I really need to.
Interesting to note that at this point, I believe the logic was to find that 4 energy that Rue did, and that means that, Osse here is going to make this play in Spirit Caverns, and is not going to be rewarded, I think, as well as he's hoping. He's not going to find an ability or anything like that. And so we know he's going to end up essentially going back to that door he just opened.
Yeah, so as far as logical knowledge goes, Cutiroo is definitely in the lead here. She took sort of the vanilla intended strat in this Blackroot Burrows orb room, where you carry that orb over top of the platforms that light up with the orb so that you can traverse the area, as opposed to doing the climb ramp, which is fair enough. It is completely obnoxious, and I completely support this decision because that climb ramp is absolute garbo. Speaking of climb ramps, right side Osse is making a few attempts at this. May not be aware that there is a micro ledge that he can stand on, just that little notch that's sticking out of the tree there. In a hand-drawn game like this, there actually is sort of an expectation that you can have that the geometry is pretty much what it looks like, and so when you see like a little notch like that standing out there, you can, maybe look for a micro ledge. Just kind of a bit of a knowledge thing, I think, on Osse's part. As mentioned,
I have wasted many minutes on trying to do this climb ramp without the micro ledge myself, and it is extremely difficult. So I do not blame him at all for struggling with that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a hard trick. Like, I don't even go for it, and I've been playing this game for over 1,800 hours now. So I think that's a testament to how much climb ramps can really, really suck in this game. We're going to see CutierooSR place a save ahead of time because she missed the cycle here entering the dash room auto-scroller section. So heads up play, might as well use the time and place that save down ahead and then go into position to start the auto-scroller section. There is another climb ramp slash micro ledge check that they can also do down below the dash tree here, which Osse did not do. So we're going to see him go to the Sea Flame tree, grab his logical fourth energy, and then we'll have to see whether or not he wants to go finish lower black route or whether or not he's going to go into grotto. I would say that if he goes into grotto from here, as I do expect CutierooSR to do, we're going to see these runners kind of converge back in the same area at the same time.
I agree, that seems likely. I do think it'll be interesting if CutierooSR decides to go further into black route. Even though it's not in logic, you can use a save anywhere to skip the boulder, get a couple pickups, and activate the teleporter at the end is a kind of easy way to get back here for when you eventually need to cycle back for a grenade tree. So I think it'll be interesting to see if she opts into that and maybe gets rewarded for it.
Ooh, the Crushy-chan hitbox of doom doing CutierooSR in as she tries to climb over this. Just pushed up against the second crusher a little bit too tightly, I think. And the hitbox extended and managed to kill her. And yes, we are going to see the Alt-R, a keybind that we have put into the randomizer that allows runners to return to start for quality of life and also to prevent soft locks, and he is going to make the early play into grotto. Kitty does have one more check that she can do in logic here in the black route main room, and then we'll see whether or not she decides to reload her save and go down to Indiana Jones, or whether or not she will follow Osse into grotto, who does have, I would say, just a slight lead here as he's heading towards the teleporter.
At this point, both players have received their third tree, and both have received the first hint that the water vein, which is a required key, is in Forlorn, which is not what we want to see, because Forlorn access either requires the Forlorn teleporter or another key that we would likely need to find a hint for, unless we happen to get really lucky and find it. So I think if I'm running the seed, I'm a bit frustrated to see that.
I mean, I'd be happy if you were visiting Canada personally, but, you know. We are going to see Rue on the left side of your screen go to the Indiana Jones check here, playing it a little bit safe down on one end, change HP thanks to that health regen. Nice setup there for the backflip onto the micro ledge. Thank you, Smashy, for showing me that one a number of months ago. Gets a keystone rewarded. Just at the boulder cutscene here is going to be using another save anywhere, like you alluded to earlier, to despawn this hitbox for the boulder so that you can just walk right underneath it, and also prevent the Frankie at the very end from being killed, one of the few enemies that does not respawn, and possible usage for a sequence break later on. She'll be able to check the pickup behind said Frankie and this health cell. In the meantime, just resources on Osse's side so far in grotto, no real sense of progression. Where do you think progression's going to be hiding here now, JMO?
I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up in the lower grotto area, or maybe a little bit up into Grove. At this point, we're not having too much in logic that we can do with climb, and so I wouldn't be surprised if we see something more powerful come out soon.
Yes, and we do have a map stone on Osse's side of the screen here. The way map stones function in the game is that they're pretty much an IOU system where you collect the map stone pickup and then you redeem it at an altar. Doesn't matter which altar you put it into, you will always get a sequential pickup. So if the first map stone turning is a keystone, you can turn it into grotto, you can turn it into grove, it's always going to be a keystone, doesn't matter. Osse climbing up here does not want to go down into the grotto vault area with just climb, because it is essentially even more awful with more climb ramps, but it could very well be in logic. It does have 5 HP, that is not enough to damage boost over these spikes. We'll see whether or not he's going to use iframes here, or he's trying to do an augmented damage boost off of the spider shot. Okay, I see.
Also worth calling out at this point, Rue, when she made the check behind the rock in Blackroot, did get a very high XP number, about 200 XP, and interesting to note there is that both dash or charge jump are enough to put that pickup into logic, I believe. It means that might be an indication that we're not going to see very many power skills this seed.
Yeah, and she's now going for the same climb ramp here in Spirit Caverns that Aussie spent about 30 or so seconds on. Ooh, almost got it. Just clipped the edge there. She's almost got it. She's just got to get a little bit higher before holding right. We're going to see Aussie with the Alt-R back into Grotto now after getting a little bit frustrated with the positioning of his energy count possibly down there in the Grotto Vault area. We'll see whether or not he decides to continue going for that or whether or not he's going to go for the double jump tree after he reloaded a save there. We're going to see CutierooSR open up Glazer here. She can't actually check this energy cell. Might be a little bit perturbed about wanting to go into Grotto without more verticality here, and is trying to figure out where it is exactly that she wants to go. Aussie, in the meantime, on the right side of your screen, dropping down into these crushers, checks the map stone pickup. It is 30 experience. Will he go for the mini boss? No, it sucks with just Spirit Flame. I don't blame him.
Yeah. With that said, there's not very much that's left in logic for him to check. You know, it would be classic Siege Gen to put something required on the mini-boss with only Spirit Flame as your weapon. So, we'll see if this comes back if he ends up needing to make another dip down into Grotto.
Yeah, CutierooSR discovering that the damage boost there off the spikes is not sufficient in order to be able to check Glazer. Unfortunate bit of time lost there for Cutie, a little bit of rust. And
there's charge jump.
Is the progression right side Grotto Crushers, and that is the verticality that CutierooSR wants and does not have. She is going to be minutes away from that, and Aussie has one of the power skills and one of the grenade jump skills, which we'll get to should grenade jumps be a thing in this seed. Does double back for
he actually has two of them.
Two of them, correct. Thank you for correcting me. I do not have enough coffee in my system. That is now dropping down to the double jump tree. We'll see whether or not anything else is lying here. Two more checks as CutierooSR is making her way through Death Gauntlet.
Charge jump is going to be really good though, because that's going to be that verticality that we're looking for, and that's going to be the thing that allows us to make very thorough clears of areas as we go through them. And the Sunstone on the double jump tree as well. That means that at this point we have one of the two dungeon keys that we need, and we know where the water vein is. So we either need to find just the Gumon seal or luck into the Forlorn teleporter. And that does also then bring up the potential of an early Horu jump with getting the Sunstone this early, depending on what other skills our runners find.
Yeah, as we saw this morning seed, having Glide would be sufficient to access Horu as long as they find a way to break the green wall leading into Horror Fields proper. We're going to see Aussie take another crack here at this. His first crack, I apologize, at the underwater pickup here. And charge jumping up to the roof for 38 experience. Most of the right side is now currently open for Aussie. Does not have access to the left side and also doesn't have anything fun in order to be able to really do a whole lot on the left side of the map. But J-Malt, it is very important that this early going in the seed, we know where the water vein is and we know where the Sunstone is at this point. It's just a skill hunt for the runners.
Absolutely, and I think finding those two pieces of information earlier is really crucial and is one of those things that can help determine whether or not a seed ends up going fast for any given runner. It will be interesting, I think, to see how much effort we have to go through to get to that water vein, especially if we end up just finding the Gumon seal, maybe have to walk to Forlorn through Valley. That might just be, you know, a big time sink, but at the very least we know it's there.
You know, I really hope that the Forlorn teleporter is in Ginzo, just so that you can't look into it and you have to go.
That would be excellent.
I really, really hope for that. But it could be potentially quite advantageous for either runner to find the Forlorn teleporter, as you alluded to, not having to get the Gumon seal. And one of the changes that was made for the purposes of the tournament here was that left side teleporters are now triggered by Sense. Do you want to talk a little bit about how Sense functions?
Yeah, so Sense is the skill at the end of the purple skill tree. So if you see when our players use a save anywhere, they open up that skill menu and there are 3 different trees they can go down. And what Sense does is it changes Ori's color when Ori gets near what is an important pickup. That is, you know, any dungeon key, any skill, or in this case, as you just mentioned, any left side teleporter, which means that way they can speed up checks if they need to do a lot of digging near the end of the seed, because they don't need to actually check the pickup, they just need to go near it, and then they can see their color changing.
Okay, this is actually really good for Rue. She dropped down straight from Grotto. down to the map stone altar, did turn it in. We do know that the first turn in is just one ability cell, as Osse is returning down to the lower left. Grotto does find a health cell, putting him up to 6, which is a very nice comfy value for damage boosting in a lot of areas. But this is good for Cutie, because Cutie is just, instead of bothering with a lower left Grotto play like Osse did for a little bit, she's just going straight to the double jump tree. And so she's going to find charge jump in a pretty quick order here, and is going to have a much easier time doing some checks that Osse was kind of struggling with. Most notably, just kind of that indecisiveness and taking a couple deaths over there in lower left Grotto. So opportunity here for Cutie to catch up in the early going of this seed, as Osse had taken a bit of an advantage here, just with a little bit of cleaner movement here through Grotto.
Yeah, and as well, Osse, I think, though, despite that early advantage, has somewhat lost it a little bit, depending on if Rue decides to make these checks. As he's come back down to lower Grotto to make up or do a lot of cleanup that he missed earlier because he didn't have charge jump, but didn't really find much for it. And so I think it'll be interesting to see after Rue finds the Sunstone here, which direction she decides to go, be that maybe up into the Grove or Swamp area, maybe try to target another tree, or if she decides to go back and make those checks as well.
Yeah, so now that this puts up the upper right side of the map and logic for Cutie so she could decide to go and just push straight through the trees. Osse could as well. Stomp Tree is now open for both of our runners. We're going to see Osse doing a little bit of cleanup here in Glades, is we need to see what Cutie's going to do. She's walking towards Glades. Will she drop down to the teleporter is the question. No, she's going to follow in.
She's opting for cleanup as well.
Yeah, so I think she wants to go and, she's got a bit of the sunken cost fallacy going on, having pushed all that, taken the time, rather, to push the block over at Glazer. Probably wants to kind of go over that way and make sure that she makes use of the time that she spent there. I don't blame that at all. Just some experience values here in the early Glades section that they're doubling back on now. We're going to see Osse as well open up Glazer. Will he go into it immediately? No, he's going to double back first for this pickup while the door animation plays. Top left Spirit Caverns. It's the first time we see it, actually, since both runners were not able to get the climb ramp, and it's 59 speed.
Ooh, actually, Cutie going down back to the first tree down here. There's this one pickup she can get with charge jump now that she wasn't able to before. And so let's see. No, another 15 XP as well. Both of those things that our runners get.
Yeah, that's a heads up play by Rue. I don't mind doing that. That is a kind of like a gotcha path that can definitely happen, where you go with this wall jump or climb only start, and your only other progression is charge jump, and then the game expects you to double back into an area that you've already checked. So definitely is a little bit of mental acuity on Cutieroo's side to make sure that she isn't getting hosed by that at all. Does reload a save here, Altars, and she is going to go ahead back into Grotto. Nothing worth noting on Glazer, unfortunately, so she's not going to be chasing that either. So the time is coming for, I believe, the Swamp and Grove checks here for the runners. Not a whole lot left that they can do in Grotto at the moment. Blue break.
Yeah, I agree. That seems likely. It is interesting to see Osse coming back down to that Indiana Jones section, that lower black root behind the boulder. And with Climb, not sure how many ability points he has right now, but he might opt to break the floor down here with charge jump and climb and go down to the grenade tree.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for him to get another tree out of the way, a couple other checks. There is one check exactly that is in logic below the floor there. It's an ability cell. So we'll see whether or not that happens to be anything. Rue rediscovering that this slime has an incredible respawn timer. It comes back stupid fast. I don't know if she was able to get that swim underwater and finish off that check, but she did open the door, so on her next pass through Death Gauntlet, she'll be able to take a peek at it. And we are getting confirmation that no, she did not check it. So Osse is just going to grab this teleporter for sure. We'll see whether or not he opts to go for that black root check. And on the left side of your screen, will we see the dip into upper area? Yes, we will. Cutieroo is going to be heading towards Grove/Swamp.
Yeah, so I think here this is kind of an interesting proposition here because she, I believe, with this skill set, could make it all the way to the stomp tree. But I'm curious to see. I would expect them to continue checking some pickups, just because they do have a very starved skill set right now. Even with charge jump, it's not necessarily pleasant to not have any speed abilities, nothing like dash or bash or anything like that. And so I would expect those to be something that they can find not too much further into the seed, because again, there aren't too many areas that I believe the seed gen would consider it easy for them to get to at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty much this outer swamp area, the stomp tree itself, and then a few pickups in Grove, Maine. And aside from that, it's a whole bunch of one-offs, including this one that Osse is going for right now. This is you see that ability cell there on the top right of his screen. It is the only pickup that's in logic, and it pays off. We have a Clean Fell approved seed. Thank you, Clean Fell. We appreciate your verification. He's also going to be ducking under these lasers for a couple out of logic checks. We'll see whether or not those pay off. He's going to have to do another save here, though. He doesn't have enough health for the damage boost. So it's either going to be a save or a zombie Ori. We do see Rue heading over to the stomp tree. This energy cell up above her, oh, actually, without more air styles, probably not in logic yet. But she's going to spend 2 of her very paltry 3 keystones. This is a very keystone-starved seed. She can be heading into stomp proper. And we'll see whether or not she finds anything here that will speed things up for her. But yeah, clean water now could very easily be where the runners are supposed to go and chase here, Jamal.
Yeah, and it will be interesting to see because Rue is in swamp without clean water, which means she's not going to be able to make any of these underwater checks down here, and is going to be struggling to get over to the tree if she opts to go for that route. Meanwhile, because Osse made that dip into lower Blackroot, has that clean water find, is going to be able to make these checks and isn't going to have to do any damage boosting. And it looks like, I'm guessing, Rue is going to opt to try to save, regen some health over here, and try to make it over to the tree.
Yeah, so the in-logic clean water pickup there for Osse and kind of a rude location does give him, as you mentioned, the advantage to replacing a couple saves here to regenerate her health. Will have to take 1 damage boost as she jumps up over onto this I-beam. Should be fairly easy for her. She'll be able to climb onto the wall and then charge jump away and only get a single damage boost here, and makes it very nice. Osse, in the meantime, also doing a damage boost check for 209 experience to the left of the grotto teleporter. Is anything on the tree for Cutieroo? It is a keystone. Given that she only has 2 now, that's actually a pretty valuable find for her at this juncture. And Osse is going to be following her, it appears, into swamp. We do have 2 map stones turned in from Rue. 1 for Osse, so he just picks up 1 there, and nothing worth noting so far yet on the map stone checks.
It is worth noting earlier we did also see Osse specking a bit into the purple tree. Might be interested to see if he decides to make that sense play going forward, because especially at this point, if we don't have double jump and we don't have dash, and we know that dash is looking to be pretty late in logic based on what we saw in Blackroot. So it seems possible that we could get sense early and maybe get some benefit from it.
Yeah, so Cutieroo did make the Death Gauntlet check there and found an ability cell, was not able to keep it. Osse does have 11 total ability cells in his back pocket. Could make that sense play at this point when you're kind of just running around the map and checking a whole bunch of things, and maybe starting to get in your own head a little bit about where the seed wants you to go. Definitely would not object to at least going up towards ability markers, which gives you 50% Spirit Light efficiency, which doubles the XP value that you get. So after that means 50% extra. And Osse's going to be following Cutieroo's steps into the stomp tree here. We do have a bit of a tree vantage, though, for Cutieroo, checking in with the state of the race. She currently has 5 out of the 6 total right-side trees that she's going to have access to. Osse making progress right now towards his 5th momentarily.
With luck, when Rue eventually gets to that 6th tree, we find the Gumon Seal hint as opposed to the Sunstone hint that we already have, because that will give us information that we very well might need to find the water vein.
Yeah, and maybe that's going to be something that crosses Cutieroo's mind, that, you know, maybe if she goes for the 6th tree over at Light Grenade, sees what the next clue is, she might have a better idea of knowledge and progression. Tree number 5, in the meantime, for Osse, one tree away just now as well. And Rue looks like she's going to just set up on a little bit of a ledge there. Charge jump over. We know these are just resources. I believe 2 ability cells are going to be here for her, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not she decides to go towards Sense as well.
See what Osse opts to do here. He's making the save in the back here. It looks like he definitely is planning on making that play towards Sense. He's bought more abilities in the or more skills in the purple tree. Those ones that he just bought there are going to be Spirit Light efficiency, which means he's going to get more experience and faster level ups from any XP that he picks up around the map. So I think he's definitely making that play, that he's recognized that this is a pretty starved seed and wants to be able to get out of this and make as many checks as quickly as possible to try to find some skill.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's got 7 more points that he's going to need in total. You see he has 5 at the bottom middle of his side of the screen, so he's going to need 2 more in order to be able to access Sense. Cuteroo is going to be trying to make this a little bit difficult. Climb, charge, jump, progression. Ooh, let's go with the wall drops.
Well, that is
takes a
unfortunate.
death. I do like the play in general from here for her. At this point, though, coming back into a lower grotto, finishing up a bunch of the checks that she was not able to do before. This is a much more dense series of checks than the place that we know progression is via clean water and lower black root. So this definitely makes sense for her. Unfortunately, we know is not the correct quote-unquote decision for where progression is. Yeah. But it's a good decision, you know, and that's something that you really need to practice when you're playing randomizers of any kind, is trying to factor it. It's not that you need to be making the correct decision, it's that you need to be making the good decisions, because they will be correct more often than they are wrong. It just so happens, unfortunately, in this seed, it is the incorrect decision. We do see a swamp swim here from Osse on the right side, is going to be chasing this clean water, has 4 pickups available to him in the swamp area here. We'll see whether or not any of it pays off. So far, just some resources. I believe there's a keystone on the first one, and an ability cell here on the second, as Cuteroo on the left side is going to be looking to finish up this lower left grotto. She has plenty of ability points if she wants to do a save drop here. Another use of the save anywhere technique. No, she's just going to opt altar out. It is a 4 energy door there in logic for her. She might be doubling back for it immediately here once she gets a refill on her energy. Another ability cell in the meantime on the second to last pickup in the swamp swim. And will this last one pay off? No, it's 106 experience. And that's it for Osse in swamp. He's got an altar here, and now go dig for progression elsewhere.
With that said, with those 7 ability points, I believe that is enough for him to get Sense at this point if he chooses. So
Yes.
he might opt to make that play soon, unless he's deciding or trying to save those ability points for something else.
Yeah, this is sort of one of those, you know, decision points that you have to make. You've got the ability points for Sense, but you're also kind of in the middle of a seed where you're thinking, okay, well, the next bit of progression might just be like double jump into a Sorrow Teleporter. You might be worrying about your health. You might be worrying about trying to push for triple jump or ultra defense. So making that investment is fairly heavy to go for Sense right now.
Definitely
and
a commitment.
it is a commitment, absolutely. And so he's probably thinking about it as he's moving through here, thinking about these different pickups that he has available to him, whether or not he wants to make for that commitment immediately. We are going to see some brand new checks for you here on the left side of your screen, however, as Cuteroo is going to be first into Grove, Maine.
Grove here is a pretty dense area, and given that it's been in logic, I think, since they got Charge Jump, it's not unlikely to me that there's going to be some more progression here, seeming as the clean water play didn't really end up producing anything. And so I think making these checks here is a pretty solid play, because there's a good number of them you can check pretty quickly, and there's a reasonable chance that this is what's going to give the advantage here.
Yeah, and there's only really one clean water lock pickup that Osse hasn't checked as far as I can think of, and that is the experience. Just to the left of where Cuteroo is actually, in Spider Lake, and Cutie with the 6 hit points will have a pretty easy going of the swim, especially if she approaches it from the left side, which is slightly faster underwater. And she is going to be making that check now. Eyes on the left for Cuteroo. She takes 1 more hit of damage. She's got to heal once more, and she'll be able to get this swim from the right side.
Ooh, Osse is sensing, though, right by this map altar here as well.
Ooh, it's the plant, so we are in another situation where stuff is blue locked, and there's the blue. It's grenade. We have grenade jumps. Cuteroo just needs to go through this swim and tag that XP and altar immediately. Alt art, she just gets out
Ooh,
in the
there
nick
we
of time
go.
with a knock of health regen, saving her. So she's going to be the first onto the next bit of progression. We now know that there might very well be something at that plant on ice list that Osse is not going to be able to check until he goes and grabs that grenade pickup in the swim. He is moments away from it. Kiriru with the edge for the time being. Will Osse drop straight down or go up towards horror fields? He's dropping straight down, and we are neck and neck here now in the mid game.
Now, it is worth noting that this grenade pickup for her, we know that I guess because of clean water, this pickup is technically in logic. I guess that counts as a bit of a sequence break for Rue. But now because
Yeah, as far as she knows, it's a sequence
exactly.
break.
But because Osse has that clean water, he's not going to have to skip all of these checks down here. He's going to be able to make them and run by them real quick with sense, and is not going to have to alt R, which means he can get back to that plant that he knows there's something important and faster than Rue is going to be able to.
Yeah, if he remembers, though, he's opting to continue up here into above Spider Lake with this charge jump. Wants to do a couple more checks. I don't think he's sensed anything up top here. I'm a little bit surprised, honestly, that he didn't immediately double back to Iceless, which was just right next to him. There you see the first instance of grenade jump, the use of the Triforce, where you throw a grenade from a climbing position on a wall and then immediately charge jump after it. 1 frame later, you get a whole lot of horizontal velocity. Ooh, does drop down. He wanted to land on that ledge in order to be able to do another pickup check there.
I believe it is possible to make it up there with just climb and charge jump. You can kind of climb on that wall to the right there and charge jump your way up. I'm not sure. Oh, there are the grenade jump up there. That's a very effective way to get up there instead.
Yep, 6 to 1, half dozen to the other. You're definitely right, though. You could have done either one. As Kiriru, without sense, but with, I believe that is 12 ability points available to her. I don't recall whether she was pushing blue or purple tree offhand. So we'll see, have to take another peek at that in a few moments and see whether or not it ends up being anything. Here's the sense check. It's the Gumon seal.
That's huge.
Go. So we know where the water vein is. It's in Forlorn. You need the Gumon seal to get there, unless you find the teleporters. So now Osse has the ability, as far as the dungeon key goes, to get there. But he's got no left side access, Jable. Left side's buried. There's no valley teleporter.
See, Gumon seal isn't useful if you can't get to the Forlorn entrance.
Yeah.
Which means even though I think that's an advantage for him here, he's going to have to do some more digging.
Yeah, like, he doesn't have a Sorrow teleporter, a Valley teleporter, or a Forlorn teleporter. Doesn't have Stomp. Doesn't have Bash. Like, there's just no way to get over to the left side of the map right now, and it very well could be that it's gated in Forlorn via a Forlorn teleporter. He is going to be doubling back here into the swamp area. Grenade jump up top for the ability cell there. Very nicely done. Tags it in one go. It's a mega health. Another bonus pickup in Randomizer, and he's going to be looping around to a few plant checks over here on the right-hand side, including one that is grenade locked. In the meantime, we see Rue chasing him just a little bit in Grove Main, checking this grenade locked experience here, 130 XP, and besides just breaking blue plants, say that 5 times fast, there are also certain grenade locked exclusively, like there's no other way you can get to them pickups other than grenade. Lying about the world, Jamal. So it's entirely possible that this is 100% forced progression, and the runners couldn't sequence break with C-Dash or C-Flame or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think it is interesting to see, despite having sense, Osse is still opting to make a lot of these checks. He could possibly still be digging for resources, you know, at this point. He doesn't have a ton of health, and, you know, might be starting to think about just what late game's gonna look like for him. With that said, Rue does manage to find the Gumon seal as well, so that play unfortunately does not culminate as much of an advantage for Osse as he might be hoping.
Yeah, she doubled back to it pretty much immediately and was able to find it. We'll see whether or not they kind of high-five each other. Looks like, yep, Rue's going to be coming up into the swamp loop area as well, where Osse is currently only finding some resources. Plenty of ability cells in the bank for Kutiru, and also a much easier way to get to the grenade tree rather than zombie orienting. She can just grenade jump to it without having to spend the ability points. That will also get her clean water, and that will also prevent her from having to backtrack to potential grenade lock pickups down there in Lower Blackroot. And Jamal, worth noting, everybody's favorite check, Lost Grove Long Swim, we know, is in logic, baby.
There we go. That's what you like to see, especially with clean water being on the way to that long swim. If that is what it ends up being, it's very unlikely that Rue is going to make that check and go down there because she doesn't have clean water going down.
Yeah, like it's just gonna be like immediately there for her. She'll find clean water, and then she'll probably think about it quickly. It's like, oh god, no, I can actually go and check this, and maybe she will. She might not. She might just push for the tree first, and she's gonna be going to the blue tree. All right, so different play styles here from the runners. As Aussie did accidentally activate these lasers. You can skip them with a rekindle save or a save anywhere, but just kind of mistimed it a little bit there. That's fine. He's going to come back up through Iceless. Has another map stone in his pocket. Cutieroo has 2. I don't think she's used this one here. Nope. She's going to be ahead on the map stone count now with 4. And it's just an energy cell.
Interesting. She's down here now. She might have come down here intending to go down to grenade tree, do that grenade jump like you said. See if she finds that clean water along the way, or if she opts instead to just go straight to the tree.
Yeah, we'll have to see what her decision ends up being. This is logical progression, as we know. Aussie setting up for a grenade jump over to the far side of Spider Sack. No, he's just going up into the middle of the wall here. We've already seen these checks from Rue in the Spider Sack area. We know that progression is not here. So let's see. With the eyes on the left, yep, Rue's going to be going and getting clean water here. It's on this ability cell, and she's also going to have access to a couple of grenade lock pickups that Aussie did not have. There's one down below, locked behind 2 red frogs, and then there's another one here next to the grenade tree. She is going to go for the grenade jump setup, whiffs on it, and I'm going to have to set up and try again.
Yeah, it is worth mentioning these grenade jumps is a 1-frame timing between when you throw the grenade and when you hit the jump, so it's extremely difficult to hit. And you know, every time that you see people struggling with these, it's not strange at all. She instead opts to go for the zombie, which uses some resources, but I do agree is a bit easier. So if you're having trouble with those grenade jumps, that is a very effective way to get through this laser as well.
Yeah, and I believe she only did that with 1 ability point expenditure as well, which is very nice. Oftentimes it will take 2 because the timing on when you have to click in for the zombie is actually very difficult to do, to only get it with 1 ability point expenditure, so does not spend additional resources behind just that 1 ability point. Having trouble with the grenade jumps here once again is going to take the route through the spinning laser by the looks. Low on energy, is going to use this one for a save, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Nope.
I'm not sure if she wants to get up here. She can do this a couple different ways. With charge jump, she can do a pretty precise jump through that laser room, or she can try a grenade jump up here. Although if she was having difficulty, might not be very confident in her grenade jumps right now, and so might decide it's not worth trying. We'll see how many attempts of this she gives.
This is actually a really heads-up play from Rue, what she did here. Setting up with that save at this top position with the grenade. Because she doesn't have any other form of air retention, she doesn't have double jump, glide, or dash in order to be able to reset. She's got her save here now so that she can just take a death immediately in the spikes and respawn. That is big brain plays there from Cutieroo. To be able to just have the quick reset like that if she wanted to continue making goes at it. Looks like she was going to take 1 crack at the spinning laser.
There's glide down.
Oh my god. This seed, dude.
So glide in the valley entrance plant. Aussie walked in and started sensing that immediately and knew that he was able to look for, or that he should be trying to get that. That is going to be, when he eventually gets to left side, is going to be very useful because that's going to let him traverse Sorrow a lot easier. But with that said, I don't know if he can get to left side still.
No, he doesn't have a way to stop the peg, and he doesn't have a left side teleporter. So, rough territory right now for these runners looking for that left side access. Rue did get the grenade jump successfully. Notably, she did not check the grenade lock pickup over to the right, top right, above the grenade tree here, so that very well could be something obnoxious like the Sorrow teleporter. We're going to see the long flippers play, Valley long swim rather. Yeah, from Aussie. Whether or not this could be something. Could be down in Lost Grove as well. Definitely a check runners don't like to do because it is slow. But entirely possible something's here. I don't see Sense proccing on him, so I don't think he's finding anything here. Yeah.
Another small play, actually, I do want to call out that happened a little bit ago on Rue's screen is while she was going for that grenade jump by the grenade tree, she actually went back down before hitting it and picked up another energy cell so that she could use that to set up another save anywhere up at the top and skip that cutscene. She didn't have any other energy, and so if she didn't do that, she would have had to watch a solid minute of cutscene. Some very good lore right there. So very heads up play on her part to recognize that she needed that resource and go back and collect it before committing to that path.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as much as we do enjoy story time, not so much when we're speedrunners. Okay, so we have the 2 bits of Glide and Wind Restored. Aussie has Glide. Wind Restored just picked up now a Death Gauntlet Roof from Rue. Still no left side access.
No.
But at least it's easy sorrow once they get there.
Once they get there, yeah. And it is worth noting, it looks like Aussie's actually heading that direction right now. With Sense, this is a pretty easy check for him to make. And so he's likely to find it here himself. In which case, again, like you said, once they find a way onto left side, they'll have a pretty okay time with both Glide. That gives them...
the Forlorn
Tele... Oh my gosh, that was behind the blue plant.
That is massive, and it's in logic. She is going. She altered immediately.
Yeah, she knows that's what she needs.
Okay, this is important for Aussie. Is he going to continue digging in Grotto and drop down? Because if he is going to have the advantage. He did pick up Wind Restored, I believe, there in Death Gauntlet Roof with that Sense check. Does have Glide, which Rue does not. We know that's in Valley entry. Yes, he is dropping down. Rue's got a very short window to try and take advantage of this and get the water vein, get out and find other progression, because Aussie's about to hit the Forlorn Teleporter right now.
Now, we'll be interested to see, I think, what Rue finds in Forlorn. I have a suspicion that it's not unlikely there's progression in here, but the question will be what is it? Because even though Forlorn is on the left side of the map, it's not actually possible, or at least not easily possible, to get up from the Forlorn entrance to the rest of left side proper. And so there's going to have to be some other way that they find of getting up there, be that an ability or maybe another teleporter.
Yeah, and it could just be that it's the water vein here and that's it. Like, we know the water vein's in Forlorn, it's just a matter of where, and it could be that's your only progression is to get the water vein and then dip out and go to Ginzo. And
that would be unfortunate if that is the case. And the other possibility here is that there are some stomp block checks in the back of Forlorn. So we can, for our runner's sake, hope that the water vein is not back there.
Yeah, so far nothing on mapstones. I'll be able to see when Aussie makes his next turn in here. I believe it's going to be his first with Sense. We'll be able to get a better indicator of whether or not anything's on mapstones. So far, I believe just an ability cell on the Mega Energy here for Rue on the left side. She is not going towards the Wind Restored pickup itself on the right side, but did key dupe ahead of time, planning for once she does get go mode to just really get go mode and not have to worry at all about keystones. And the way that works is that basically you have a save placed outside of the scene spawn range for the keystone door, so the keystone door is not loaded. And so when you go and you put keys in the door and then take a death, you are sent back to a spawn location where that door isn't loaded, and the game gets confused and then just gives you extra keystones. So she did pick up the water vein there, sort of halfway down towards the Forlorn entrance, and is immediately going out towards Ginzo. Again, important to note here for Rue is that she is going to be missing Glide, which is going to make Sorrow Pass significantly more difficult for her, particularly given that her grenade jumps haven't been working for her hands just yet. As mentioned off the top of the broadcast, totally okay, because she's been away from the game for a while, and it's going to take a little bit of time for her to regain that muscle memory. Will Aussie continue on in Forlorn or dip straight out for the water vein? He's gonna at least try and get this check. He's taken too much damage, takes the death.
He unfortunately messed up this little trick here. It is possible to get that pickup where the water vein was with the orb, and then have the game save and place you right at the Forlorn entrance after you get it without having to walk back there. Unfortunately, despite going down there with the orb, the game just was not liking him. Played that cutscene before he picked up the pickup, and so if he wants to make the outside Forlorn checks to the Forlorn entrance, he's going to have to walk back there manually. And the other thing that happened that's worth mentioning here is we did get a look at Sense on the map stones. And there was nothing there. He didn't glow at all when he was standing on that map stone, which means that there's likely not going to be anything on the map stones. We know for sure there's no abilities or significant teleporters.
Yeah, I mean, 4 out of 9 map stones at that point, since is quote-unquote close enough to the end of the map stone progression that we would be able to tell whether or not anything was on map stones, and so we know definitively that it isn't. Rue's going to be making a couple of these outer small loop checks in the meantime, left side of your screen, which we have seen Osse do. Sort of just kind of a thoroughness play on her part, having gotten the water vein, having not been here with grenade and before or clean water. So just doing a couple extra checks en route to the Ginzo tree with that water vein. And we did see Osse go for the manual orb traversal method of getting over to the outside portions of Forlorn, now doing the exterior checks. And so far, a whole lot of nothing but resources. Sad times for Osse. He does have the water vein, he does have glide, and he's probably going to be heading towards Ginzo himself very shortly.
And that does make it increasingly likely that Ginzo is going to be our next piece of progression. Finding that Forlorn teleporter into only finding the water vein in Forlorn likely means that there's going to be something of significance that our runners find here. I think the interesting question will be how easy it will be to get, because there are plenty of pickups in the front of Ginzo that our runners will be able to get pretty simply, but after you get past the tree, things get a bit harder, because you're expected to have Bash, which our runners do not yet have.
Yep, and it could very well be here in the Ginzo tree. We'll find out. Rue's going to be the first to do the checks for us here on the left side, so we'll keep an eye there for now. Grenade throw here to this plant. It is a keystone. Not something she wanted to see, having taken the time to deepen Forlorn, but so be it. Oh, okay, no, she didn't remember the XP. I was getting a little worried there. She missed that check.
Yeah.
Alright,
So it'll be another interesting spot for her. Without any real air stall, you kind of just got to force your way through these spikes and hope you don't get juggled back and forth between those teleporters exactly like that. Without double jump or glide or something like that to just kind of keep you in the air a bit longer. This room is pretty tricky, actually.
Yeah, what you want to do, there's a way that you can do a wraparound jump through that first portal. Then you want to intentionally, right there where she took damage in that middle channel there, you actually just want to sit back a little bit further so that you can get a clean jump through the portal, and that will take you straight through the third. So it is possible to do this with just 1 damage boost, and it looks like Osse with glide is going to be the first through, but Rue straight on his heels is going to
she say I saw her die and was really worried about her for a second.
She placed the save. That's a tough jump to make without double jump or glide for sure. So, fun fact, if you've never seen this puzzle room done unintentionally before, you can just use 1 block instead of 2. Ta-da!
Very well designed puzzle room we've got here.
Very. Alright, so there is a mini-boss here, which will be destroyed in relatively short order with grenades and charge jumps. Over on Osse's side. There is like a little bit of a 1-frame window where you can actually see where the mini-boss is going to spawn. You saw a little flash of cloud there in the middle right. That's the indicator to let you know where the mini-boss is going to spawn. And Rue, was able to get that fight done a little bit cleaner than Osse was. I combined their names accidentally. I was going for the Rue Osse play, but didn't pan out. Ability cell and mega health in this room, and progressing now onwards towards the Bastion. Yeah, lots of resources and no skills.
Yeah, and notably, still no left side access. So even though looking at the race here, I would say, you know, there's at least a little tree vantage here for Osse on the right side. Or, sorry, that is Rue, actually. She has the grenade tree, but Osse has not done that one. But I'm not sure if I would put too much weight on that yet, just because at this point, neither runner has any idea of how to get to any of the left side trees.
Yeah, still no teleporter, still no stomp, still no bash, still no whole lot of stuff. Wouldn't it be hilarious and rude and amazing if it was on the wind escape? Back in Forlorn.
Ooh, there is that pickup that you get for starting the escape in addition to the hit. I think I see Osse actually starting to sense for something in upper Ginzo, though.
Yeah, it does look like it. He is turning that orange from the blue. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be that XP above the log. It's the Sorrow teleporter, which is good. Very good. It is left side access, but Rue does not have glide. It is in valley entry. This might be an alt-R situation here and go mode from Osse. It is not. He's going to continue up and at least do a sense check on the next 5 or 6 pickups here. I don't...
Ooh, no, I think he's changing. Yeah, he
Yep.
definitely is. And it is worth noting that even with that glide and the Sorrow teleporter, he can get to left side, and it's likely that there are still, or that there are going to be good pickups there. But he might be wanting to do some more digging, because right now the only way he really has to do final escape is grenade jumps. That's
Never mind,
dash,
he
so
has
never
dash.
mind, yep.
That is colossal for Osse finding dash there. I imagine we're going to see Roos here with a couple extra ability point expenditures. I believe she was pushing towards Ultra Defense there. There's dash to her left immediately. Boom, Alt-R. Are you Alt-R? Yeah, she's Alt-R. Okay, so she is going to have dash. She is going to have everything but glide compared to Osse. Osse still has to go do grenade, as you were alluding to. Tree Vantage here for Rue on the left side. She could consider this go mode at this point. It is possible to complete the game with this skill set and without needing to rely on grenade jumps.
It will be interesting to note, though, also, while he has dash, he spent a lot of, or Osse spent a lot of ability points on Sense here, and so now that he has, he's got charge dash anyways. He's, I guess, picked up a lot more ability cells than I realized throughout the rest of this race.
Yeah, I mean, there was just simply a wealth of checks that both of these runners have done in terms of searching for progression and not finding it for the longest time. Finally getting it here in the Ginzo tree, and there's Stomp.
So there's Stomp on left side. That's what you love to see.
Oh, this seed. You know, I was thinking about racing in the prelim later on at 6 Eastern just for practice, but the way these first two seeds today have gone, I'm not sure I
That'd be a
want
good
it.
idea.
C-Gen's out for blood today.
Yeah. Alright, now Rue on the left side is trying for an interesting trick here with a charge jump off this wall and then a charge dash. You can extend the damage, the hitbox that this charge jump does, and use this to break that wall over there from very far away. It is a very quick timing, though. It is not an easy thing to do. And I'm not sure, it looks like she's actually trying for a grenade jump there. I'm not sure if the grenade jump on its own is actually capable of breaking that wall.
No, it's got to be a charge jump with a dash. She could do some rocket jumps off of these spiders to save a little bit of health there as well. Oh, she kind of had the idea there. She's
Got the idea here, yeah. It's just that timing, like I said, it's very precise. It's got to be almost instant. But if you do it too early, then you end up not hitting the wall at all, and that's not fun.
Yeah, she does have the option to stomp the wall as well, but doesn't have air retention, so she would end up having to either get lucky or take some additional damage off of that wall there, and I don't think that she wants to risk that right now. So she's going to continue going for this tighter timing press here. And Osse, in the meantime, with Glide, has decided he just doesn't want to bother with any of that. He's going to go straight towards the intended pathway here through to the charge jump tree. He's going to miss out on Stomp, which isn't
At
really
this point, I don't think that's that big of a concern, though.
Yeah. Yeah, she's got to fire off his C-dash here. Yeah, like you say, she might be pushing for the grenade jump and, like, just regular dashing at the same time. But yeah, if she rocket jumps off of these spiders to take a little bit less damage and then goes for the stomp, she'll have this as well. She could also, I think she's got enough room on the red tree to do a zombie Ori to charge jump.
She does only have one ability point, though, so that would be
Yeah.
a pretty tricky ask, because if you do that poorly and can't make the double, or can't make the jump after the damage boost, then you're just kind of out of luck.
Yeah, and plus she still has Misty to do without glide and double jump, so like she probably is thinking, I've only got this one ability point and I might need to save it for zombie and Misty or something like that. So
Absolutely.
bit of a tough situation here for Rue, having missed out on glide and valley entry. She's just gonna have to continue plugging away at this. There's no two ways about it unless she wants to double back and go digging.
Yeah. That said, we have Osse now moving on to leaving Sorrow. Likely here he's going to check that Wilhelm XP, not sensing off it so he knows he can skip it. Is going to... Oh, Wilhelm ends up shooting the rock for him. How kind.
He got bailed! He got so bailed!
He was about to fall into the kill plane, yeah.
He whiffed on the climb charge jump and then like Dat tried to like panic dash back and Wilhelm was just like, I got you, fam. And smashed the rock. Wow.
Wilhelm is, in this case, his best friend. Ooh, it looks like Rue opting to Alt-R out of Sorrow, not having luck with that door, is deciding she's going to need to look for some more abilities in order to get to that tree.
She might just be backing
Oh, wait,
up for...
she got it?
Yeah.
I was not paying attention. I apologize.
She got the charge jump tree, and she's just going to be backing up through Sorrow main shaft now to head towards Misty. So, easier time here for Osse for sure in Misty, but it's the last tree that he needs to get. He does have access through kinetic storage on the Baneling if he wants to get through Horror Fields. Rue's going to have Stomp, which is going to make that just a little bit faster for her, but she's got a motor now. Osse is quickly tearing away at this lead with Glide, making things significantly easier for him.
Yeah, that glide ended up becoming a huge advantage for him because it let him go through Sorrow much easier than it was for Rue.
But I believe Rue did push for Ultra Defense, so she does have that going for her, where like Osse is going to take a significant amount of damage on any hit, like 3 damage right there, 5 damage, and
ooh, and that's a rough save.
The Valley Teleporter. Yeah, Rue's going to be able to survive. Like, that would normally do, right there, that left side of your screen there, that would normally do 4 damage to her. Ultra Defense shaves off 1 bit of damage there, making it a little bit easier. Also having the health regen there, of course, going to help both of these runners. Osse taking a boatload of damage, just dashing into spikes and face slamming into projectiles. Ori is not a weapon in this game, Osse. I have to let you know that.
Right now, it is interesting. Our runners at this point are pretty similar to each other. They've got the same number of trees. They're heading into the same area here. The big difference here is really going to be that glide versus Ultra Defense. We're going to see which one ends up getting through Misty faster then, and then ultimately whether or not they're confident doing Final Escape with their current ability sets.
Yeah, like, and Osse's just taking a boatload of damage here. He's already down to 2 health. He has to make an absolutely perfect charge jump and glide over here in order to be able to make the damage boost.
He's going for the grenade jumping.
Ooh, does hit the grenade jump, but falls down into the spikes. He's going to be able to place a save. He's all right. Meantime, you can see Rue taking a similar amount of hits. Still has 6 HP to her name, so she can just face plant into the spikes, no problem, and place another save here. She is low on energy, though. We'll see whether or not she decides to duck back into the little frog nook area there and regain a little bit of energy there. Nope, she's just going to continue going on through, gets another ability cell. That is, oh yeah, that's her last soul link too until she gets to the energy crystal where Osse is.
And she's still got that, last room, that kind of zigzag room of spikes. I don't recall what it's called right now, but that is, with her ability she has, is not going to be possible to get through without a damage boost, and she does not have much in the way of health.
I think you just named it, JMO. It's called Zigzag Room.
Brilliant.
Yeah, there you go. It now officially has a name. So 3 energy for Osse, and some ability points is not going to have to do the zombie here, with Glide is going to be able to get a pretty nice float down. That is the last soul link that Rue is going to get without waiting for energy regen, and it looks like that is exactly what she is planning on doing. Yep, she's going to place another save there. Will she SA after killing the slime, though? That's the question. 476 experience? Yeah, you're not supposed to be here yet, guys.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'll be curious to see afterwards what progression our runners are missing, because this is the last tree that they're doing. So I have a feeling there's some abilities, something significant, maybe a bash or a double jump or something that they're missing.
Yeah, Ultra Defense there paying off for Rue in spades, dropping down to 1 HP, and that is all you need to get to the tree. She does get there. Osse is going to be first back to the Glades Teleporter and the altar. We're going to see here momentarily whether or not Rue is going to attempt to do this escape, or if she's going to try go digging for more. And just so many ability points in this seed. The runners did pick up Spirit Light efficiency on the map as well, so having massive amounts of XP coming their way. He does now also have Ultra Defense, which is going to make damage boosting through the escape a lot easier for him as well. And the teleporter to the swamp TP indicates to me that Cutieroo is indeed going to be going straight to Mount Horu. Osse is going to spend a little bit of time on this kinetic storage of the Baneling to the top right. Rue's just going to be able to stomp this wall down. Osse did not end up acquiring Stomp, which was over just above the charge jump tree. Placing a save down here after killing the elemental, and now he's got to jump. Oh, he's going to use C-Dash. Yep, C-Dash redirect. I just did not brain. I did not think of that. But
this is tricky though. It's not trivial to hit this, especially with that laser. He already killed that laser once, and it respawned very quickly.
Yeah, that laser is absolutely no joke. 2 charge dashes, just gets through the elemental. Rue does, taking the lead over Osse, who is struggling with this C-Dash redirect. Rue was just able to stomp that down and go. And she is going to be the first to the entrance of Mount Horu, and it looks like Osse is giving up on that charge dash redirect. Is going to go for the kinetic storage here. The way this works is that because the baneling doesn't move until you aggro it, and each shot actually provides a little bit of a knockback, this is effectively storing a bunch of knockbacks all at once. And then boom, there goes the baneling, breaks the wall. Nicely done by Osse, and Rue has had enough of this seed, not even trying door warp.
She's just going. She chooses violence today.
You know what? That is a valid decision in a seed like this.
Now, this will be interesting to see because this is going to be a tricky final escape for her. Just having grenade jumps and dash. Dash makes it a bit easier, but still not trivial because without having glide, that last room is going to be very tricky. There's a couple precisely timed grenade jumps that she's going to need to hit in order to get this escape done.
With ultra defense, she can. Her big problem, I would say, it would be getting through the lava pillar room mainly, because when she gets to the elemental room, she can just charge dash into that, take a damage boost, and then charge jump up. If they didn't have clean water, I would definitely say like grenade jump is probably the way that you're going to be looking to do this, but she does have clean water. She does have a boatload of health and ultra defense, stomping down that floor here in order to prevent Kuro from chasing her while she sets up for this little charge jump sequence. Ooh, she falls down. She's now triggered. Kuro is going to have to get over to this wall real quick and climb charge jump off. Did not get there in time. Osse doing a couple extra checks here in
And something on the right side, right outside the door here, and it ended up being the Valley teleporter, which means there was left side access gated in Horu behind the Sunstone.
Oh my gosh. So you had to go get the surround TG.
That is looking increasingly like what they had to do, yes.
To get stopped, to get to Horu. Oh, that's great. Okay, Rue is going to be the first to start our other escape attempt. Osse is just starting his now. Setting up here on the ledge. Couple charge dashes over. Very nicely done. Has to do the climb charge jump here. Plenty of time, though. Hasn't stopped forward. Not spotting Kuro just yet. Climbing onto the wall and dashing into the fire with the charge jump and another dash. There she goes. That is cleanly through. Her problem is actually, I forgot about this with her not having glide. Oh,
exactly.
She's gonna hit a damage.
Oh no!
You get sniped by Kuro. Yeah, she doesn't have an easy way to get up into that final main shaft. Not that Osse's is very easy either with grenade jumping, but the advantage of glide is probably going to prove a little bit too insurmountable here for Rue in the terms of this heads-up matchup, taking it up the best she did, as Osse is into the water portion and now battling the Hades.
Definitely a tricky lineup to use glide to get up here without setting off the Kuro kill cutscene, but it is, I think, easier than the grenade jump, and he gets through cleanly.
And all he has to do now is set up on the wall for the final grenade jump, or alternately just say, you know what, enough with the seed and cross the finish line. Looks like he is going to set up the grenade jump. He does look to be just a bit low.
Oh, I think he got it, yep.
It's impossible to tell as a viewer.
Yeah. I don't even have that, you know, perfectly lined up myself a lot of the time, so getting it first try there, very impressive from him. Meanwhile, we have Rue here still struggling to get through final escape. This is definitely a rough set of abilities to have, and the ultra defense makes it nice, but there are just so many things that can kill you so easily in this escape.
Yeah, and when you don't have air retention, like glide or double jump, to be able to get past the little final trigger here, it is an extremely difficult escape to do. Does manage to get past Kuro's swooping attack here in the clean water section. Does now, however, have to set up for this grenade jump, as she does not have the ability to just climb charge jump immediately there. And
Double jump, I don't think you can grab onto that wall there.
No, you do need an extra jump. So she has to go for the grenade jump here, or go digging for skills. Like, that's basically her only option. Ignore the fact that the timers are synced there. Again, if you were joining us in the middle of the broadcast, we did have to just sort of borrow Osse's timer for the sake of displaying that on Rue's side because of some technical difficulties with live split on Rue's end. So Osse does finish with an official time of 109.5. GG Osse. And we'll give you a status update on the rest of the races here. We do have Vanished Cloud coming in with a 42.04 first place finish, edging out Triton Knight, who had second place with 42.25. Liftoff coming in with a 43.58, Sirius 44.41, Infinite 47.23. That's fifth place. Jay Halcyon at 53.05 is sixth. Guard 7th, 57. Debut 58.57. Floater is 59.24. That's good for ninth place. Sunny Muffin finished at 1 hour and 53 seconds. Rufus just behind him, a second later, getting sniped in 11th place. Terra 101.33. 12th place. Oshi 105.54 for 13th. Wesper 105.59, and as mentioned, Osse 109.05. Finishing in 15th place, still got Fupio, Turtle Run, Trojan Dude, OG 17.64, Cutieroo, and Acrid Stingray, racing out of a total of 21 entrants.
I really have to feel for Rue here. This is the worst position to be in, of knowing that the final escape is possible. She's gotten very close to it a couple times now, but it's very difficult setup to do, and it's not a good position to be in, to be wondering if you should be going out and looking for more skills to try to make this escape easier versus just continue going for it, because any individual attempt could be the one that makes it. And so if you go searching for skills and lose out on that, then that's potentially a big time loss. But this can be very frustrating to be in this position with this escape.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those 6 to 1, half dozen to the other situations. If you have the knowledge for the grenade jump here, it's not too bad to do. It just takes like slamming right against the wall a little bit in order until you get it. But trying to do that charge jump straight across is just not possible. And yeah, she's gonna altar out of the escape and go digging. Is going to mean that her escape's going to be a little bit wonky when she gets back there, but it's completely fine. And that's going to be a forfeit from Cutieroo, actually, officially.
She's just all right.
Alrighty, well, we'll just give them a second to see whether or not they want to pop in and have a little bit of a chat. Give them a minute or so to cool down. And Rude Seed this morning, followed by a Rude Seed this morning ×2. And yeah, it's been horupathing and then wander around for like 30 minutes until you get the Forlorn TP.
Yeah, so that means we're overdue for a good seed this evening, right?
Yeah, that's totally the way it works. Absolutely. There's no way that the seed gen could be angry 3 times in a row. Not at all.
Absolutely not. I've never seen that before.
I'm just gonna talk to Kitty here real quick.
All right, with that said, I think while he's talking, we can talk a little bit about what's coming next. So this is the last day of preliminaries, and this one in particular was the second to last race. So there is only one more coming up today, this evening. It will be featured match of Terra versus Grimelios on SpeedGaming 2. I believe that is tonight at 6 p.m., and it'll be commentated by Zemsis and 2Kill. So be sure to stick around for that. You can watch that race. It sounds like a very interesting matchup. It's definitely going to be one worth watching, especially if the seed ends up being as ugly as this one. 2 very skilled runners, and so I look forward to seeing what they can make out of something like this.
Yeah, Terra and Grimelios are veterans returning to the randomizer with the onset of this tournament. They have both competed in previous iterations, and it's going to be an absolutely good matchup. We did get word from Cutie that after the forfeit, she needs to go just not deal with the interview, and that is completely valid and acceptable. No judgment here at all. You take the time that you need, Cutie. We love you. It's a terrible seed. It happens. Sorry. But yeah, we'll take off, and we'll see you again here at 6 o'clock Eastern, right on SpeedGaming 2 for more Ori Randomizer action. Bye.